So, reverse anorexia, what is it? It's when fucking people feel like they're small, and usually it's people that aren't small, right? Like a person who's not fat, who's like really skinny, you can see the ribs and bones and everything, right? That's anorexic, right? We all know what that is. Bulimic. It's where they eat the food, gorge themselves, because they wait, and they can't take it anymore. Eat a bunch of food, feel guilty, throw it up, right? That's bulimic. Now, did I ever have anorexia, bigorexia? No. I did have a little bit, but it doesn't count. A couple of the episodes that were the worst. One time I got up to 255, right? And my buddy, William Wood. Yeah, buddy.
I found some alcohol
Okay.
and it was very
Okay.
what do you want to say?
But we went to this little PT cruiser right now that sunroof, right? So, boom, we got up on the highway and I jumped up and started doing some drive-by posing, right? And then we come back and taking a fucking shower, right? And I went through the fucking thing, right? The tub, it broke. So then we had to go out and get another one, right? And I was pissed off because I was just showering, right? And I'd been in there with girls before, right? And everything else. And just doing some cardio and stuff and just not doing anything wrong, just hanging out, right? And talking. But a shower time, conserving water, right? But no issues. No issues when I was in there with, in the shower room with another gal, but then freaking I'm by myself if I can go through, right? Of course, I wasn't 255. At the time, I was like 245, 250. I was climbing, right? Or that could have been just a straw that broke the camel's back. Who knows, right? But I got that fixed. But then all of a sudden, right? I get to the point where it was gone a couple of days. I wasn't eating as much. I wasn't hitting the subs as much. So my macros were down. Of course, I still trained like an animal, but I lost a little water, right? So I freaking get freaked out. Okay. I was in that fucking, I go and put a sweatshirt on, right, because I was in a Superman tank top, and I was like, man, people can't be fucking seeing me like this, small and everything. I put on a sweatshirt middle of summer, right, and it was an air-conditioned house, but I went and I had my tank top on, and I threw my sweatshirt on, put the fucking hood up, and fucking pouted and fucking watched Kickboxer, right, and William Wood watched it with me. We got his dog drunk, and then he did. No, I did that. Sorry, Will. And then he went out. He got all pumped up. He had these baby trees in his yard, and he got all excited. And bang! He cried. He did a bunch of martial arts, classes. Even did a tournament and stuff, and won that. And then he did another one, but he got disqualified because he broke the guy's nose, and you aren't supposed to go full contact in that one that he did. So he kicked down his trees. All that work he did, planting them and stuff, and then he kicked them down. But the strong shins, right? But that was a fun night, but it got my mind off of being small. But I didn't go out to the clubs. I had plans. I had a bunch of my buddies waiting for me. I had a couple gals waiting for me, and I was just like, I ain't gonna make it. I'm sick. I got a can. I don't remember what excuse I used. I don't even know if I even bothered calling anybody. But, yeah, I didn't go, so I just stayed home and pouted. But that was one time, and then another time it did something weird. But I can't remember what it was now. But that was about it, but this is getting hot. Okay, that's better. It's fucking hot in here. So, it's hot here in this bathroom. It's like almost like a heater coming in here, man. But then you go out here, and then you want to put the fucking sweatshirt back on, because out there, because middle of winter and stuff, it's fucking cold, right? So when I was feeling small, I was about where I am right now, about 240, right? So how did I cure that reverse anorexia? Well, I basically won a couple of titles, and it went away. I was like, okay, well, I'm not a big guy, but, this guy in the super heavies was a 277. The runner-up was won the Mr. Oregon last year. He's 275, right? Both these guys have been to nationals, but top three, and so all these other guys that were on stage against me and stuff, and in a couple contests, I ended up even beating them, right? But that got my confidence up, and then I go, okay, well, I'm not small, then I must be average size, right? and then just beat them out on lines and symmetry and hard work, right? And hard work is, I say that with leniency because fucking bodybuilders, most of them, that I'm up against, at least in my day, fucking almost killed themselves getting ready. So I don't know if I worked harder than them or just as hard, but because I'm not saying I outworked them. I just got lucky, I guess, right? I just came in. Well, I got a damn good prep coach. That was most of it, but I worked really hard. I was consistent on everything, but to say that was the reason, those guys train their asses off too. So we all work hard. That's why we have so much respect for each other in that sport, because so many of us have been in hospital beds, going just balls to the wall, doing everything possible to win, things like that, and getting dehydrated, run down, adrenal fatigue, all these types of different kinds of things, right? And even some guys having heart attacks, getting ready for shows, right? And so, we have a lot of respect for each other. Anybody who's willing to put their life on the line for fucking sport, it's a little cuckoo, right? But a good crazy, because we put on a good show for the crowd. We have some of the best physiques in the world, right? We try to entertain people, okay? So I don't see anything wrong with what we do. And a couple other things, but I don't really want to get into detail on them. Same for another video. Like one day when I was doing a bachelorette party, right? The girls ended up inviting me and Tony the Tiger to go out. No, it was Woody Woodpecker. I can't remember, but yeah, Woody Woodpecker for sure. Because I remember I got all pissed off, and I fucking were out, and I was just sitting there. We were having a great night, and all of a sudden I'm just sitting there drinking a beer, and I'm just like, and it's the only beer I had. I wasn't drunk or nothing like that, right? It's the first thing I had to drink all night long. I was so cold sober before that. And I was like 2 sips into it, and I just started getting pissed off. I'm like, God dang, I feel small. And I don't know what the fuck it was, right? And then we go outside, and I ended up snapping because these two guys were outside across the street, right? Not even fucking looking at me, but I thought they were looking at me. And they're fucking going back and forth, conversating, and the guys, it's on the fucking, driver's side, talking to the guy that's outside of his window with the window down, and he's talking and laughing, and every time he looks over at his buddy, I think he's looking at me. So he's looking at his buddy, but I think he's looking at me, and I'm looking at him, and he's looking at me, and I'm looking at him, and I just fucking sort of I ran over there as fast as I could. I was gonna come, and I wanted to punch him right in the face with open palm, and I'm like, what the fuck's wrong with you, dude? Just ask him, go, you verbalize first, don't just go beating up on people, right? So I just took him in a, I said, so you laughing at me, and then I almost called him motherfucker. And I held myself back. I want to be a nice guy, right? And I said, you laughing at me? And he said, dude, I ain't laughing at you, bro. He goes, we were just talking, he still had a smile on his face, right? We were just talking about da-da-da-da. I said, oh, okay, cool. I said, that sounds like a pretty good story. That's pretty funny. I said, I thought you were laughing at me because I was small. He said, you small? He said, dude, I don't want any trouble. No, you seem like a nice guy. I said, yeah, you seem like a nice guy too. You guys have a good night, right? And then I turned around, and first I was happy for like a half a second. I turned, and then I felt small again, and then I was pissed off, and I ran, and I fucking tapped the garbage can, right? And then I started hitting the signs and shit, just being a stupid goofball, dumbass, fucking musclehead that night. I don't know what the fuck my problem was, right? A lot of money in my pocket and everything else. I made like $200 or $300 that night, right, in an hour. Fucking being a jackass, right? No excuse for that. And then my buddy Woody, he goes and tries to pick up the fucking, he's a bodybuilder too, he's trying to pick up the fucking metal garbage can. He couldn't move it. It was heavy and shit. And, but I'm kind of embarrassed about that. It was kind of stupid. But we all do things in our past. I was a kid, I was 21 to 26 years old, somewhere in there, I can't remember. But, yeah, so then we went and spent the night with the gals and stuff, I slept in my own bed and shit, but, but before that I got in a big conversation with some gal there, super hot chick, but she was a psychologist, right, and so she was picking my brain, and she was asking me a bunch of questions, and I'm not crazy, it's a bad night, right, but she found me fascinating for some reason, and she calmed me down, and then I went to bed, but, yeah, you get a little bit weird, some of these guys that do this sport, because you get some of the biggest, baddest, freakiest guys in the whole world, right? Average arm size, once you get to the heavyweights and super heavies, is 20 and above, right? 28 ounce, 22s, 21s, 24s in Jay Cutler's case, right? It's crazy, right? So you get a little bit competitive, you know, and when you always want to be the best and you never feel like you're at where you need to be, you're always pushing for that next level, and you're always visualizing more. I want more, I can do it. And then so when you look at, you visualize something, you look in the mirror, it's like, God damn it, I'm still small, right? And then you go heavier and heavier, and eat more and more food, and the results will come. Now, the guys that are crybabies about it, oh, I'm small, and then they spend a half hour in the mirror. Well, that posing will bring out, bringing out your strong points and hiding your weak ones. But ain't gonna make you no bigger, right? You gotta go eat your macros and lift your weights for that. You know, and okay, how much time you spend in the mirror, how bad you want it that way if you're not able to pick up over 600 pounds on the floor, 500, 600 pounds on the floor on certain lifts, and 3, 4, 5, 6 on the bench, things like that. You're gonna grow. So that's where a lot of it's at. And then, last but not least, I took a test one time. I took a test with my buddies. There's 3 of us, right? And we're all between 230 and 220 and 260 at the time, right? All 3 of us, and we've got big plates all piled up there at, I don't know if it was grannies or chuck wagons that day or whatever, but I had a book like this, and it was one of the first books ever written on dysmorphia, bigorexia, and there's a quiz in there made by this expert doctor, and it asks you a bunch of questions, right? And one of them is there that do you feel small? Do you feel just ask you a bunch of questions. Do you feel you're small, average, large? It's not. Of course, I circle small, right? And my buddies circle up somewhere between small and average, or a little bigger than average, or a little less than average. I don't remember what exactly, but they put more than small. And then it comes to a grid where they got these little tiny guys, super skinny guy, and then it goes up, boom, 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 to real big, right? And so I chose somewhere between the skinniest guy and the middle guy, somewhere in there. I picked one of those first 2 or 3 guys, right? And I picked the very, very, very skinniest, like 1 or 2 over. And so we get done with this quiz, right? It's like a 10 or 20 question long thing. It's multiple choice, it's easy, right? And then you get a points on it. And so my buddies, they did okay, but they still failed miserably. They got like their recommendation was fairly high level of reverse anorexia. Strongly recommend you see counseling or medical assistance immediately. And then mine was like the most severe. It was like, you have an extreme case of bigorexia, body dysmorphia, reverse anorexia. You're in a dangerous state right now. You need medical and/or psychological help, and this is and you're delusional in the way that you look at yourself, and you got this may be at least a couple years worth of recovery time on this. And we read our diagnosis, and I don't remember which of us 3 did. This is bullshit. And the other 2 were just like, that is bullshit, this is bullshit. This is a guy doesn't know what he's talking about. He's an expert, right? This fucking expert doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about, right? We got pissed off. We were pissed at that. We thought that was such bullshit. And it's just the difference between the community, the way they look at things, and athletes look at things, right? And there's kind of a happy medium, I'm sure. And we're on one side or the other on it. They're on one side or the other on it. But if you're not pissed off and driven and pumped about a certain goal, and you're satisfied, you're stopped. So if you're 135 pounds and you're satisfied, or you're 185 or 225, it doesn't matter. You're going to stop. You can be that 225 pounds, and if you got a small waist, you're kind of a monster at that way, right? If your joints are like this, your waist is like that, you got a V, you're going to look like 250, 260, right? You're going to be a force to be reckoned with if you're if you're 1 or 2% body fat, at that weight, or if you need to drop down a little bit more, right? You look huge on stage, and you might win the whole fucking show if you got that kind of symmetry, right? But if you're there and you're like, I'm big enough, I'm good enough, you're not gonna get any better, right? And then same thing, 185, yeah, good enough. You're gonna stay 185. And if you're 135, I got abs. Hey, I look good. I look hot. I'm getting some bitches now, and yeah, they're gonna stay 135, okay? Because they're satisfied with how they look. So never be satisfied. Obviously, if you're doing stupid shit and you're training way too heavy, you know what the fuck you're doing, and you're trying to train heavy for hours and hours at a time, when you got to do it for a short time and then rest. The only stuff you can do for long periods of time is lightweight, right? Or moderate. Yeah, you can hurt yourself. That's a problem. That can be reverse anorexia causing a problem. But if all it does is drive you to be better, minus a couple of stupid meltdowns like I had, big deal, right? Always wanting to push the envelope, being obsessed, wanting more, never being satisfied. That's growth. That's success. That's going to make you better. And that's, if anything, you know, if you feel like your business needs to be better, you'll find a way to make it better. If you think it's going to be good enough, it's not going to get any better, and it might even go down. So that's my diagnosis, right? I'm a little bit different than the experts, right, in the medical field. So if you kind of go in the middle, you'll probably get it right. You'll probably get it right. I'm probably too extreme in one direction. They're probably too extreme in the other. You know. So anybody spends more than an hour or two in the gym, they're like, whoa, obsessed, overtrained, bigorexia. You know, that's a little extreme on that side, you know. But then being 340, I've never been that big, so I don't have that issue, but I've seen guys that are over 300 pounds go, oh, small. That's a problem. That's bigorexia, okay? But that's the other side of it, right? So if you're in the middle, you're probably about right. All right, it's been showtime. It's showtime shredder over here. Size, growth, get big. All right. Acqua fresca, vino puro, strecciadora. That means red wine, fresh water, and beautiful women. Take care and God bless. All right, all right.